Hey guys, it's Emmycat, obviously, and I'm going to be reading from yet another story that I wrote. This one has 3 chapters. I'm pretty sure I had called this one Taken, I think. At the time I didn't know of the movie Taken, so yeah. Guess I will get right into it. Sophie, could you leave my setup alone, please? Sorry, my cat was trying to get into my camera. She's gonna knock it over. Here we go. Chapter 1. It was almost the end of first day of school. I think I'm missing a the. It was almost the end of the first day of school. Just 10 more minutes. I didn't know how to spell minutes. Minuets. Minuets. But to me, it felt like a lifetime. It was also Friday. Our math teacher, Mr. Sidley, was droning on about how to divide fractions, but I wasn't really listening. Just looking at the clock and waiting and waiting. Then the principal came to the door. I didn't spell principal right. Maxine Halden, can you please come to the office? The principal, Miss Wad. Yes, that is her real last name, asked. Wad. Ms. Wad. I couldn't get up fast enough. When we reached the office, I felt like I was on a set of Men in Black or something. There were 2 men in, black suits, dark sunglasses, and guns. They were in guns. Okay. Max, this is Agent Kedley. And Agent Frag. I was really not good at coming up with last names, apparently, Mrs. Wad said. So she went from Miss to Mrs. Agent Kedley had jet black, slicked back hair. You'd have thought he'd come right out of a movie or something. He looked to be about 50. Agent Frag, on the other hand, had blonde, kind of short hair and couldn't be more than 25 to 35 years old. That's a bit of a age gap. Nope, that's the same line. Hi, I said as I held out my hand, thinking they would shake it. There was an awkward silence, then I took my hand back. Hello, Miss Halden, Agent Kedley said in a cold, monotone voice. Oh, hello, Miss Halden. He's a robot, apparently. He was beginning to scare me, and he knows my name, I thought. Then Agent Frag crouched down to my height. Don't worry about him, Agent Frag said. He's like that with most people he doesn't know. But once you get to know him, he actually seems like a real human being. I stifled a laugh. I think that's supposed to be stifled. As Agent Kedley told Agent Frag to stand up. I liked that Agent Frag wasn't afraid of Agent Kedley. So if he crouched down to her height, how tall was he? Was he super tall, or was she like just super short? Who knows? Anyway, Miss Wad said. Oh, Mrs. What's going on with the Mrs., I guess. They need to talk to you about your mom has been kidnapped, Agent Kedley interrupted. Whoa. Not a lot of plot development there. A couple pages and your mom's already been kidnapped. And we think whoever kidnapped her wants you too. What? I practically yelled. Kidnapped? By who? We aren't sure, Agent Frag said, taking off his sunglasses. They were wearing sunglasses indoors still. But we think it has something to do with her job. Her job? My mother is a florist. What, did someone not get the right flower arrangement or something? I asked sarcastically. That caused Agent Frag to chuckle. This is no laughing matter, Miss Halden, Agent Kedley said. Your mother is not a florist. She's an FBI agent, and she works for me. This would be my Criminal Minds / CSI phase. I was in total shock. My mom, an FBI agent? Not possible. Since when? I asked angrily. Since 10 years before you were born. She was ordered to tell you that she was a florist. Agent Frag said, and all of the customers. Oh, I spelled customers wrong. Costomers. And all of the customers that came by were actually FBI agents undercover. Well, I covered up an A in undercover. I'd actually wrote undercover. You need to come with us, Agent Kedley said. How do I know that you're not just pretending to be FBI agents? I need to see your credentials. Good idea. I said, see, I'm weird like that. I like to use big words. I'm only 15, but my teachers say I could be in college. Again, another child in the story around the same age as me when I wrote it that I wanted to be like. Smart girl, Agent Frank said as he and Agent Kedley handed me their badges. I looked at them closely, saw they were real, and gave them back. How would you know if they were real or not, though? Now, Agent Kedley said, putting his badge back into his pocket. Will you come with us now? Yes, I said. They led me outside to a black SUV. I had accidentally wrote SVU and switched it to SUV. I got in the back, Agent Frag in the passenger seat, and Agent Kedley in the driver's seat. Wow, I thought, I'm actually going to a real FBI agency. Luckily, we wouldn't have to go far, considering we already lived in Quantico, Virginia. Yep, I knew that from Criminal Minds. And I also spelled Virginia wrong. Virginia. I-N-I-A. Sorry. I grew up here. I'm glad we live here because I want to grow up to be an FBI agent. I never told anyone that, not even my mom. So when was my mother kidnapped, Agent Frag? I asked, wanting to fill the silence. Please, Agent Frag said. Call me Kyle. Okay. Your mom was kidnapped shortly after she returned home from dropping you off at school, around 8 a.m. Oh, I said. I had so many other questions to ask them, but I didn't have a chance because we arrived at the agency. After Agent Kedley parked, I got out and looked around. Cool, I said, more to myself than anyone else. Let's go, Agent Kedley said, grabbing me by the arm and pulling me into the building. Everyone seemed to be staring at me when we got inside, like I was an alien or something. We finally reached a room that looked to be a meeting room. There were 6 other people in the room, all of them with files. I spelled probably wrong, about my mother getting kidnapped, I thought. Sit, Agent Kedley ordered like I was a dog. I suddenly had the urge to bark, but I didn't. That's a good one. I say as I'm the one that wrote this. I just sat down, but I did scowl. Maxine, Kyle said. This are Agents Wrigley, Stones, Johnson, Ordle, Andrin, and Dixon. Actually, no, Herman. No, Dixie, never mind. She's named Dixie, not Dixon. This are agents. Okay. Hello, Agents Wrigley, Stones, Johnson, Ordle, Andrin, and Dixon said. No, wait. Hello, Agents Wrigley, Stone, Johnson, Ordle, Andrin, and Dixon, I said. You remembered all of our names, Agent Dixon said. He literally just said them. She looked like a normal person. Oh, wait. Agent Dixon said, she looked like a normal person. I noticed she was the only woman, and the only redhead like me. Parentheses, I'm a redhead. No, really? I can remember things if I think about it, I said, which is true, by the way. I can remember things if I think about it. Is that not how remembering works? Enough chit-chat. We need to discuss Joan Halden's abduction. I spelled abduction wrong, Agent Kedley said. While they discussed my mother's kidnapping, I told Agent Frag I had to use the restroom. He said it was the first door on the 2nd floor. It's pretty far away, I thought to myself. I took my time getting to the elevator. I wanted to look around. On my way toward the elevator, I saw what was most likely the interrogation room. Someone was trying to get a man to confess to murder. I stopped to listen. I didn't do it, the guy said. I noticed his voice got higher when he said that. I knew he was lying. He's lying, I said, not realizing I actually said it out loud. His voice gets higher when he lies. The two men listening looked at me. Kid, you shouldn't be here. Go away, one said, and stopped. I didn't notice his voice changed. Did you? Or how did you? Sorry, Jesus. I thought for a moment. Ask him how old he is. I knew he would lie. I could tell he was at least 16, but he would say he's 20. They had the interrogator ask him how old he is. 20, he said. He's 16, I said, as I walked away. They said something to each other, then looked at me as the door closed. I never mentioned that I went in... Wait. Not me. So she just walked into an interrogation room? Like, either the door was already open, or she just, like, opened the door and be like, hey! After I finished in the bathroom, I realized it had been 15 minutes. I hurried to the elevator. I got in and went to the first floor. I was hoping I wouldn't get yelled at. When I reached the conference room, the agents looked like they had just finished talking. Where were you, Agent Kedley? Kedley demanded. I didn't know what to say. She helped us get a kid to confess, a man from the doorway said. I recognized him as one of the men from the interrogation room. She could tell that the kid's voice got higher when he lied. Did she know? Agent Wrigley said. He looked like a bodybuilder. How many pages I got left? Quite a few, apparently. Very cool, Agent Frag said. I was about to tell them I said that without realizing it when my cell phone rang. Put it on. Agent Kedley started. On speakerphone, I know, I said. I did. Hello? Hello, a voice, obviously disguised, said. I have your mom. If you want to see her alive, you will meet me tomorrow at noon at the construction site. And no cops. I know you're at the FBI agency. Say hi to the agent for me. Then he hung up. Did you trace that, Agent Ordle? Agent Kedley asked. I assumed Agent Ordle handled the technical stuff. Can't. Prepaid cell phone, he said. I don't think that was long enough to figure out if it was a prepaid cell phone. And I think I meant a burner phone. I guess that would be the same thing, though. Agent Dixon, why don't you take Maxine on a tour or something, Agent Kedley said. Yes, sir, she said. When we got out, he closed the door. Is he always so... I couldn't find the right word. Bossy, Agent Dixon suggested precisely. How old are you anyway, Maxine? 15, and it's Max, I said. Ah, got it. My name is Katie, Katie said. So you actually knew that kid was lying from a change in his voice? Yeah, I can tell when people lie, I said, then caught myself. I didn't know my mom lied about her job, so I guess I'm not that good at it. We walked in silence for what seemed like an hour. You're taking this well, Katie said, having your mother be abducted, I mean. I'm surprised. Most people would be scared or crying, or both, I said. I'm just so surprised. I mean, my mom works for the FBI, for God's sake. That's big news, Katie said. We passed another interrogation room. Katie stopped me. I want to see how you can detect a lie, she said. Joe, this is Max, Katie said. He just stared at me. You can detect a lie? Yeah, right, he said. I was with my wife when my son was killed. I heard the suspect say. His voice didn't change, but his left eye twitched. I could also tell that he was not wearing a wedding band, and there was no tan line. He's not married. Look at his hand, no ring and no tan line, he said. Oh, and his left eye twitches when he lies. Joe looked at the guy's hand and told the interrogator to ask him the question again. He did, and got the same answer and the same eye twitch. Lucky guess, Joe said, then took some notes. Wow, I didn't even notice that his eye twitched. Impressive, Katie said. I smiled during the rest of the tour. So the trained professionals can't tell when they're lying, but a fucking 15-year-old girl can? Like... And there's little stars. I'm assuming that means later. Oh, wait, this is a change in scenery. Aha. Mrs. Halden was still in agony when she woke up. She looked around. Where am I? She asked. She tried to stand up and realized that she was tied to a chair. It's no use. You're tied down, someone said. Mrs. Halden couldn't tell where the voice was coming from. The room seemed to be spinning. I was drugged, she thought. Oh my God, I hope Max is all right. Why are you doing this to me? Who are you? The FBI will She couldn't finish her sentence. The man put his hand over her mouth. He was wearing a ski mask. Shut up, he said. She could tell his voice was disguised. He duct taped her mouth shut. Now, he said, pulling out a gun and pointing at Mrs. Halden's head. Tell me. He stopped and took the duct tape off where the file is. Never, she said, knowing he was most likely talking about the file with names of killers that were not caught. You're talking about the file with killers' names on it, right? She asked. No, a different file. Now tell me where it is or I'll shoot you, he said. No, she said. Bang. He shot her right foot. She tried not to scream. She was in excruciating pain. Jesus. This is actually not bad. It's a little cliche, but it's not bad. When the man saw the look on her face, he sighed and got a towel and wrapped it around her foot. That is not how you spell wrapped. R-A-P-P-E-D. At least there's two P's, or else it'll be something entirely different. And I don't want to say what it is. Stop your whining, he said, if you want Max to see you alive. She wouldn't say another word, she decided, not yet, for Max's sake. Fine, he said, leaving. Have it your way. He reached a door and turned back around and put the... He reached the door and turned back around and put the duct tape on her mouth. So you won't scream, he said, laughing as he went out the door. I wonder what file he's talking about, Mrs. Halton thought. I hope he doesn't hurt Max, she said to herself. Or that's what she tried to say. It came out muffled because of the duct tape on her mouth. And that is it for chapter 1. This is actually kind of interesting, and I'm excited to read the rest because I haven't read this in years. I really wish I'd finished it. I don't have any stories that I've actually finished. And, yeah. Oh, there's a cat sleeping. That's my setup. But, yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. There's 2 more chapters, and, yeah.